Hi there. This afternoon I've been looking once again at the competitive LTF, specifically to find a better way of defining the entry point rather than the wet finger stuck in the air method I used when I presented that demonstration. If you go up to the Tools command, you can bring up the Options dialog box, and there's the tab for the race timer, which lists all the durations of the races that are run in the UK. These are obviously average figures, and I did notice the other day that it doesn't include races like the Grand National, which are over 4 miles long. However, I thought, well, we might as well try and use these figures here to choose a better entry position. If you recall from the original video, I used a sort of a rule of thumb, best guesstimate, gut feel type figure of 25% left in the race. However, if you think about it, 25% for a 5 furlong race is only 15 seconds. And that is probably going to be way too late for sprints. Whereas away out in a 4 mile race, I mean, obviously there's a lot more time left that they've still got to run. So rather than trying to interpret these numbers, what I've done is I quickly popped them up into a spreadsheet and produced these two tables here. The first table was really still focusing on the idea of using a percentage figure as a sort of a global figure. But when you started looking at the numbers, it all essentially points towards the second table here, where all I've done is calculate the average time that it takes to run a furlong in each of these specific races. And then I've taken a decision that, okay, maybe 2 furlongs out is a good entry point. And this right-hand table here essentially gives you the time taken to run 2 furlongs in each of these distances from 5 furlongs through to 4 miles. And you'll see, apart from the sprints obviously being very quick,
in 1 minute.
You can see that they hover around 30 seconds. So that's what I've gone for. As simple as that. There is certainly scope to split these in two and say, right, okay, let's look at the sprints and 1 mile and 1 mile 1 furlong races and perhaps reduce it somewhat. But I think 30 seconds from the end is a reasonable estimate for all the races. And that should give us roughly 2 miles out is when the automation will start looking at the race, looking to see if it's competitive at that point, and then popping in the lay of the field if it qualifies. Or that's the theory behind it. So that's what I've done. I've set that up today. You can see in this race here, this 2 mile 4 furlong, and it's just switched to the next race. Let me go back. In 30 seconds to go, it should be checking. You'll see the odds are still quite high, I suppose. So it'll be interesting to see at this level whether it identifies it as being close. I'm still looking just for 1 decimal odd difference between the favourite and the second favourite. So you'll see here, it looks like it's too much, unless this one comes in a bit.
Entry time approach.
Right, indeed, they came together just in time. So there's the lay of the field going in. This one needs to come down a wee bit more. Come on. It's going to be stubborn, I can tell. Keep in mind that this technique is trying to identify competitive races towards the end, and there we go, excellent, well done. There'll still be races where only one runner gets matched, that's inevitable, but really the whole idea behind it is to try and get it to make a sensible decision whether a race is a potential LTF, rather than you going into every race that's on the planet, and just blankly putting in LTF bets at the beginning of the race and hoping for the best, or spending hours browsing through data trying to ascertain if a race is a particular candidate for an LTF. What this is trying to do is get it to make that decision on the fly as the end of the race approaches. Now that's actually 2 I've done this afternoon, and if I switch to the other one, they've both been successful. So that's a sprint and a long one. Excellent. Beginner's luck. I'll skip ahead to another race and let you see that when it comes along, and then I'll wrap up the video.
This market is now in play.
On the other hand, maybe I won't. I'll just jump in right now. Okay, so this is a longer one, 2 mile maiden hurdle. Same thing again. So the change isn't really anything exciting. All I've done is remove the 25% here and change it to 30 seconds. And the submit is looking to stop looking at 20 seconds out. So in other words, there's a 10-second window in which the automation monitors the odds to see if it's a close race prior to submitting the LTF. So what I'm going to do is I shall skip ahead rather than us waiting 2 minutes and nothing happening, and we'll see if this LTF kicks in. Okay, we're coming up to the 30-second point, but you'll see the current leader is away down at 1.1, so it's very unlikely that this will be a qualifier unless something happens to him.
Entry time approaching.
But that's good. That's all we want.
This event will start in
the automation will detect that he's away out in front, or she's away out in front, based on the name, Miss Maverick, and consequently we'll say, right, it's not a close race, I'm not going to get involved. And that's it. Excellent. So the automation does its thing in this particular race, decides it's not competitive, and doesn't get involved, doesn't submit the LTF, and that's exactly what the automation is designed to do. Excellent. Okay guys, I shall carry on with this for a little while. I'll speak to you in the next one. Cheers.